So Annalise, tell me, you, with your 11 years of experience doing this, you have probably run into some really big challenges, some really small challenges over your time. But I'd love to hear from you just about a couple of the most common HR challenges that you see for home care agencies. What keeps coming up over and over again?
So one of the things that came apparent to me probably 3 years into working with home care agencies is how important the quality of the office staff is. So if you have a professional, caring office staff, you create a culture that is professional and caring. And so you will attract people, caregivers, who kind of fit that mode, or will respond well to being treated with, professionally and with care. And too often home care agencies have just recruited people that were just good enough. And it's just, it doesn't carry through. And so it really became apparent to me when I was working with an agency that had 2 people. And they had 65 caregivers. And I was like, oh my God, how can you do that? That's so unusual. And really, it boiled down to the fact that these 2 people were one was the agency owner, and the other one was basically a scheduler / recruiter / office manager. I mean, this woman was a superwoman. She was super organized. She had systems in place for everything. She had been doing it for a long time at that point. And they were able to handle a lot of things because they had systems in place, but they were able to handle a lot of things, and they had systems in place because they had people who were thinking with, how do we simplify? How do we, let's not reinvent the wheel every time something happens. We need to have processes in place. And I'm a big process-driven person, and it just made so much sense. And I've seen it time and again. Agencies that have a strong office personnel, they do very well. Those who have weak people, they have high turnover. And so it's like every 6 months, it's like starting from scratch again. That's exhausting. It's expensive, and you're just not building your business. So that's the first piece. The other aspect of, the big challenge right now is, of course, recruitment. And so the best recruitment you can do is keeping the caregivers you already have. And so that's twofold: are you utilizing your workforce to the maximum? So do you have caregivers who would want to work more hours and are not right now, and they are getting those extra hours from another agency? And then the other one is making sure that the ones that are working and are happy with the hours, that they don't quit. And so there's different times where we know caregivers will be more susceptible to quitting. So it's the first 90 days. So put in place a solid onboarding to really hold the hands of your caregivers during that sort of red danger zone of the first 90 days. And then, once a case comes to an end, we know that exposure to death is also increases the chances of a caregiver quitting. So what do we put in place to prevent that? That's another sort of, pivotal moment. Or just when they lose a case because somebody's going to a facility, or, for whatever reason, the case ends. Are you proactive telling the caregivers, we have more work for you? We will keep you employed, because the traditionally the culture of the industry has been, oh, my case ends, so I'm probably going to be back, looking for another case, another job, maybe with another agency. And so being very proactive there, I think, will help with retention.